For a while now, people have been questioning how this came to be, how our present state of affairs, the way we live now, became the way it is now. I was asking those questions myself once, but then I realized the answers were before me the whole time. There have been many upheavals and changes following the invasion. My friends and I have seen and told many stories of adventure and war from that time. By this point, we all had contributed to our survival, and knew many others who contributed in their own unique way. And that's how we were able to live today. But our happiness was not to last, for that nightmare came from under the sea. Dargala was credited as the monster that caused mankind to almost lose the continent of Australia. Its origins were during the alien invasion of the 2010s, when an underwater alien faction dubbed the Vunavalu created it as a bioweapon. After several years of hibernating, it finally awoke from the depths. Dargala first appeared in late June of 2018 and made contact with an ISAF submarine in the furthest reach of the South Pacific Ocean. 2 weeks later, the ISAF Navy, including the aircraft carrier New Horizons, engaged Dargala in Fiji and successfully injured him, but could not pursue him due to the presence of poisonous starfish-like organisms called Balaam in the water. Research confirmed that the Balaam were a byproduct spawn of Dargala's contamination. 3 days later, Balaam arrived at the ports of American Samoa, Fiji, and Tonga, and eventually caused some of their inhabitants to die of bacterial infection. 2 weeks after that, on August, Dargala approached Australia, but the Royal Australian Navy hesitated to attack out of fear of releasing Balaam into Australian waters. Dargala made landfall in Sydney and brought total destruction all the way up to Newcastle. The government was thrown into chaos and in the confusion gave the ill-advised order to attack Dargala. Dargala was fatally wounded and flew out to sea, where it died and contaminated the surrounding waters with huge numbers of Balaam. This led to a pandemic and famine later known as the Red Winter Plague. International support was hindered by marine pollution and resulted in 3 million casualties by 2019. With administrative functions eventually back in order, the Australian Provisional Government made the decision to support all cities on the eastern coast of Australia. In turn, the New Zealand government issued an emergency response in which the inflow of infected people would be strictly checked at airports and harbours. It was also decided that foods imported from Australia after the appearance of Dargala, such as beef, processed food, industrial products, and other goods were to be incinerated, until eventually the stock market returned.
Brisbane Centre, Beechcraft, Sierra Charlie Papa. Sierra Charlie Papa, Brisbane Centre, go ahead.
I'd like to deviate 20 degrees south for weather.
Deviation left approved. Report when direct again.
Sierra Charlie Papa, roger.
Why are we turning? To get as far away from those mountains as we can. Brisbane Centre, Sierra Charlie Papa. Pan, 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 pan. Sierra Charlie Papa, Brisbane Centre. State your situation. We're experiencing left engine trouble. Wait! It's caught fire! It's caught fire! Brisbane Centre, Sierra Charlie Papa. Mayday, mayday, mayday! Sierra Charlie Papa, Brisbane Centre. State your intention. This is not good. I need to get out of this. Sierra Charlie Papa, state your emergency. Beechcraft, Sierra Charlie Papa. Radar contact lost. How do you hear Brisbane Centre? Sierra Charlie Papa, how do you hear Brisbane Centre? Oh shit, Bill. I think we lost him. Brisbane Centre, this is World Travel Flight 8905. World Travel 8905, Brisbane Centre, go ahead. I'm picking up an ELT beacon of 243.0. Copy, 8905, thank you. I'll get on the horn to the Air Force. No, I'll do it. Oh man, Happy New Year, I suppose.
that's how I was able to say goodbye once and for all. We've got about half an hour till the train leaves. Thank you for inviting me over, George. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, weren't you supposed to have a roommate out here? The Alabama pilot? Ah, yes, Jane Cazotto. She was always looking for work around here. She would be off volunteering, she'd be off working late night, and then she was picked up for an Air Force assignment in the US, and she just disappeared. I haven't heard from her since. I'm guessing it's going to be one of those missions that she's on. Oh, wow. So what's happening today for you? The usual, mostly. Because I found a great fishing spot back at Townsville. Not telling anyone about it. Or maybe golf at Torrance Creek? Sounds like a nice harbor. Too easy. By the way, how is your eye surgery? Oh yes, it works magnificently. Well, looks like a quiet day in the good life. Oh dear. What's happening? We just got a scramble order. Oh right. We better get going quick. The train will be leaving soon. Oh man. This year was peaceful and quiet for only 2 weeks. That has to be a record for me. Joint Air Base Malkara didn't look much different from the surrounding terrain, but at this place, looks were deceiving. What was now Joint Air Base Malkara had a colorful past, most of which the public was unaware of, or at best indifferent to. It started life as Woolaroo Airport in 1942 to train bomber and pursuit crews for service in World War II. After the war, the airfield was turned over to Queensland, and some of the government land north of the field sold to mining companies. A few businesses and an air museum tried to make a go of it at the isolated airfield, but there simply was that much business in remote north-central Queensland, and the airfield seemed to languish. But the underground elevators, buildings, rail lines, power distributors, and ventilation systems that popped up around the airfield were never meant for miners. The Australian government secretly constructed a vast underground cave network beneath RAAF Woolaroo. Many believe they were constructed for the alien invasion of the 2010s. The facility was designed to be a government reconstitution command center, a base far from the population centers to which the heads of the Australian government and military would escape and ride out a Soviet or Chinese nuclear missile attack. After the attack was over, the officials at Malkara would broadcast instructions to the survivors and begin rescue and regeneration efforts for the people of the east coast of Queensland. The facility was the ultimate in 1950s technology. It made its own power, air, and water. It was built to withstand anything but a direct hit from a 1 megaton nuclear warhead. It even boasted a wide variety of underground hangars with elevators that would take aircraft as large as an F-111 bomber below ground to safety. The base was so isolated that most miners and landowners never realized the facility existed, but when the Cold War ended, Malkara was shuttered. That is, until it was reactivated in the early 21st century by ISAF as the headquarters for a new high-tech aerial attack unit called the Aerospace Strike Force. The Aerospace Strike Force contains some of the most secret and amazing air combat machines ever built. Incredibly advanced strike fighters with the radar cross-section of a flea, bombers fitted with lasers that could shoot down ballistic missiles and satellites in low Earth orbit, even multiple flights of unmanned fighter bombers that could fly supersonic combat missions halfway around the world. Still, the little community and its mysterious underground base went almost completely unnoticed by the rest of the world. The base even became a staging area for Australia's fleet of manned and unmanned space planes, aircraft that could take off and land like conventional aircraft but boost themselves into low Earth orbit. But then the Red Winter Plague and the economic crash of September 2018 happened, and everything changed. Newly elected Prime Minister Jonathan Halifax, politically exhausted from a bruising and divisive election that saw yet another Prime Minister being chosen in effect by a leadership spill, ordered a series of massive tax cuts as well as cuts in all government services. Entire cabinet-level departments, such as education, commerce, transportation, energy, and veterans affairs, were consolidated with other departments or closed outright. All entitlement program outlays were cut in half or defunded completely. Despite howls of protest from both the political left and right, Parliament had no choice but to agree to these severe austerity measures. And Joint Air Base Malkara and the surrounding area were not spared. A large portion of aircraft at the once bustling base was in Hangar Queen status, available only for spare parts, reassigned to other bases or mothballed. Most planes placed in flyable storage were not even properly mothballed, but just hoisted up on jacks and shrink-wrapped in place to protect them against the sun and storms. Construction at the base was halted, seemingly with nails half-pounded, concrete footers half-poured, and streets abruptly turning into dirt roads all littered with construction equipment that appeared to be just dropped or turned off and abandoned. There seemed to be no one at the base at all except for security patrols, and most of the visible ones were unmanned robotic vehicles responding to security breaches discovered by remote electronic sensors. Morning, Jim. All grown up now, I see. Freddy, enjoying your ride? Oh, absolutely. The GA-8 Airvan flies like a dream in her natural habitat. The U.S. Civil Air Patrol has now taught us how to master our Archer systems. So we are top-notch now. The Airborne Real-Time Queuing Hyperspectral Enhanced Reconnaissance. Our eye in the sky. Our flight release officer has just entered us into the ICU and will give us a face-to-face when we're done pre-flighting. You know, I'm thinking of trying my luck at flying as a scanner. Even at 22, do you reckon you're old enough? And you know how Rob feels about the Top Guns flying together. If there was an accident, it would be an even greater tragedy. Then maybe I can be on the DF on the ground team? I can start expecting the LPER. All we know is that the initial mass briefing will be in 30 minutes. But I'm here early, and I did navigation on the last exercise. I can... Hey, Bern, relax. You'll get your chance eventually. They'll put you on DF, so you better stop pre-flighting. Briefing in 30. Good idea. See you around. Clear skies. Larry's just checking the birds while we have the chance. I know him. He could probably land that air van on one of his school buses if given the opportunity. Now, the waiting game. Yeah, never really did like that game. Never good at it either.
Thanks for coming so quickly, everyone. This is an actual search and rescue mission. Approximately 40 minutes ago, Air Force Rescue Coordination Centre was notified by Brisbane Air Traffic Control Centre that a Beechcraft King Air with 3 souls on board was lost on radar and presumed crashed. The commercial airliner flying in the vicinity picked up an emergency locator transmitter beacon on VHF guard frequency, and air traffic control actually put together a pretty good triangulation based on signal phone. The plan is to launch the airvan and begin a search grid at the approximate location given by the airliner. Unfortunately, the ELT is an old style transmitter and isn't picked up by satellite or doesn't transmit its position. So we do a search the old fashioned way. Major Riviera will be the mission pilot with Mornington as observer and Idris as scanner. Because we got an ELT signal and we might have a mostly intact plane with survivors, I'm going to deploy a ground team immediately. Luger will be the ground team leader, with Byrne as deputy team leader, driver and comm, and Finucane and Luger as medics. Repeat, setup will be Romeo 17. Be sure to carry medical equipment and supplies for 3 victims. The crash site is on a property of Ryan Anders. Nevertheless, it'll be very isolated, so the ground team will pack supplies for the next 3 days. It'll be a tough one today. Good luck out there.
Okie dokie, let's start her up.
I'm taking care of the pre-flight, so let's roll.
Let's go. Get comfy, Rod. It's gonna be a long one.
What else is new? Alright, looks good. Light the fire. Prop.
Together we made a great team to serve in an emergency of any sort around here. The aviators had plenty of tricks up their sleeves. Freddie Riviere was a Canadian top-notch Super Hornet ace of the ISAF Navy, having served in countless sea battles across the world before finally settling here. He was quite a good-looking guy with a sense of reassuring confidence which helped him and his fellow pilots get through the war. Loopy Larry Mornington was a famed stunt pilot known for landing his plane on top of vehicles, but when the invasion came, he did not stand by. He flew antiquated World War II fighters into the countryside and early-era fighter jets to the front line, and always came back. Serious as he is studious, Jules Idris was born in Kenya, raised in England, and now lives here. Gifted with tech-mindedness, he was the most ideal lad when it came to airplane gadgets, and is without a doubt the brains of the squad.
Tower, Charlie, Juliet Echo, and runway 27 ready for takeoff. Charlie, Juliet Echo, Tower, clear for takeoff. Service wind 37 at 15. Clear for takeoff, Charlie, Juliet Echo. Alright, here we go. Right now. Lovely little town, isn't she? Stood strong after everything the region took during the invasion. Yeah, their tenacity is to be admired. So we just have to turn north and we'll reach our destination. Yep, if something happens, they've got an airstrip.
Let you guys have all of the adventure.
Adventure's not allowed on this bar. You know why he's on his guard. Last he battled Northern Territory.
He's got a right to be there.
What happened?
It was during the Second Iron War last November. Tanks and planes were hitting the invading forces when suddenly they launched a bioweapon at them. We had to hold our ground, and many paid the price. Mission was FUBAR, a massacre. Then the weapon went out of control and destroyed its own masters. Hell, our guys only survived because they couldn't be in two places at once. The territory was nearly sent under.
But Spara still isn't over it. Matter of fact, he's one of the people helping the injured. They were messed up, I tell you. He figures if he can makes us a model rescue unit, us Queenslanders will be spared a similar fate.
Meanwhile, the top end just got back from bloody anarchy. What a world we live in.
Charlie, Juliet Echo to control. We're over the suspected crash site.
Roger that. Charlie, Juliet Echo. Proceed with search. R2 use approved.
Proceeding with search. Alright, Jules, you're up. Time to scope the place. Copy that. Archer system coming online. Let's start sweeping.
Charlie, Juliet Echo, this is Golf 1. We are in the area.
Roger, Golf 1, we have you on scope. Can you see it yet, Jules? No, I cannot. Are you sure? Because this is the place they'd said it'd be, right? Don't worry, this thing will know where it is. Have you found it yet? No, patience is vital in this operation.
But my mother can find a bloody coin quicker than they can find a bloody plane.
Yeah, for a plane that has all the fancy camera equipment, my dishwasher runs around the kitchen faster than they do.
Can you see it now, Jules? No, Wait. Oh, there it is. There's a large amount of debris, 1.7 kilometers west of the ground team's position. It's a good match. Did you get that ground team?
We are proceeding. Ground team control, we found debris, just the top of the King Air, and all fighter jet.
Control copies, ground team. Not a match.
It's crazy how many old wrecks are still out here.
How many battles took place out here? Used to be still and quiet.
11. Ever since 2014. The alien commanders thought this would be a good place to harvest. Oh, how wrong they were. The result was years of sieges and wars against aliens, humans, and drones. There's a lot of stuff around here. But there's no time to dwell on it. Where's that plane?
This guy wasn't one of ours.
We gotta expand our search. Hope Ryan doesn't mind. Still, at least it's a lovely day out.
God damn it! This isn't either. Where is it? Where in the mother of us is this plane?
Control, Charlie, Juliet, Echo. We have swept the entire area and have not acquired any King Air wreckage.
Copy that, Charlie, Juliet, Echo. Stand by.
So if the King Air isn't lying in pieces here...
You don't think it's two? It's still in one piece.
Oh, great. Another case of a vanishing plane.
Don't say it.
I'm sorry, but what else could have happened? Like MH370 all over again.
I'm just thinking of something.
What?
Any chance he may have faked a crash and then escaped somewhere?
Yeah, but that begs the question. Where? Where could he have gone?
I couldn't even guess.
Pacifica 2033, Rockhampton approach, roger. Descend and maintain 13,000 feet. Rockhampton altimeter 036. There's VFR traffic inbound to Rockhampton at your 8 o'clock. 6 miles, primary target only. And I'm not talking to a net, so I'll have to keep you a little high for now. 3-3, crossing 17, descending to 13. Negative contact on the traffic. Brisbane Centre, Rockhampton approach. I'm looking at the primary target 15 miles northwest. He's doing about 260. Was he talking to you and Mr. Handoff? Stand by, Rockhampton. Negative, Rockhampton. Everybody's checked in. Copy, thanks. Ted, this guy is blasting straight in for the runway and he's not talking to anyone. I'm going to have to send this Pacifica flight into holding and back up the other inbound GA flights until he's in the clear. Did you try raising him in the clear and on guard? That was my next move. Aircraft on the 297 degree radial, airspeed 260 heading 185. This is Rockhampton approach control on guard. If you can hear me, turn to a heading of 120 and remain clear of Rockhampton C-class airspace, and contact me on this channel or switch to 119.2. There is traffic at your 2 o'clock position, less than 4 miles. No answer, Ted. He's gonna bust right through the Class C. Everyone out of his way? Yes. What do you think he'll do? He's gonna be a Norda or a pinch hitter. I'm betting he'll see the runways and try to make a landing, or just circle and decide what to do. This is not good. He could close us down for hours. Tower TF, we got a Nordo inbound, about 11 miles to the southeast. We've got him on scope. He's at 200 level, just south of Glendale. We've got him at 250 knots airspeed now. Same up here. Okay, I've got the Pacifica flight set up to orbit. Now keep all the other inbounds out of the C-class until this guy either calls or zooms through. I'm hoping you'll see a runway and go to it. I'll activate the crash net here just in case. This could be a mess. Holy shit! Is that pilot insane? Aircraft is flying over the field at about 100 feet AGL, heading southeast at 200 knots. He missed the tower by less than a couple hundred feet. Somebody call the police and fire departments. If that guy doesn't climb, he's gonna hit something right in downtown Rockhampton.
Bomb is armed. There it is. There it is. I'm going in. I'm going in. Live free or die. The Lord has spoken.
Attention all units. This is Control emergency message.
Control, this is ground team, go ahead.
A civilian plane has crashed into Rockhampton. Authorities believe it to be a terrorist attack. The state government has called all aircraft to be grounded immediately. We have to land within the next hour or risk being shot down.
What? A terrorist attack? Here? Don't worry about it, Freddy. We have to get home. We don't have enough fuel. We'll have to stop somewhere. And even then, we won't be able to make it back within the hour. Are there any nearby property airstrips? Hang on. Yes. Freddy, just follow my navigation. Roger that. This is Charlie and Juliet Echo, leaving the airspace.
Damn. Son of a bitch. I think we found our bird.
It could be something else, but faking a crash, I suppose so.
We should get back home. Back to base.
You guys hear that? Rap Anders. Who?
Ryan Anders. He's the 4th gen owner of the land out here. Good customer of mine, too. I've known him for a while. He fell silent for a bit. I wonder why he didn't come in.
Everyone, keep your cool. Which one of you is Burn? Who the hell is Burn? I am? So you think you can walk up to my veranda on my property and leave this as a sort of notice? Well, I got news for you, my friend. We don't do that out here on my land. I think it's time to teach you a down-home respect for... Riley?
Hello, Ryan. You're quite the same saga, aren't you?
You're with this group of thieves, Riley? Are you all right? Yes. Who are you?
David Luger with Royal Civil Air Patrol, ground team officer.
Royal Civil Air Patrol? Why didn't you call and...
On a search and rescue mission.
Oh, yes. We did hear a plane go bonkers last night. You looking for that plane? Well, we thought we had... But you drive that car through my gates... And that's why I left the form on the veranda, so you could call Mission Base and they'll explain what's happening. On my land, I prefer to get answers for myself. And out here, I decide what is stealing and what's not. Hang on a second. What was your name again? Byrne. Unusual name. Wait. Byrne? James Byrne? The James Byrne? But you're wearing a sergeant's rank. The real James Byrne was a mysterious foreign legion there. Is that right? Not anymore. So you really are him, the Townsville ace. Well, no shit.
The one and only.
Well, I don't believe it. It's a pleasure to have you on my station, sir. It's a real honor. Sorry about getting in your face there. But we do get a lot of trespassers and thieves these days. Hell, back in 2015, I got involved with a car chase with a serial killer. The police are doing their best, but this is a big country and a big station. The department's been slashed to the bone. I apologize, sir, but I'm babbling. You need to get back to home quick? If you can, I can take you for a ride in the chopper. I'll fly you myself. Otherwise, I'll have the boys at the house bring out the Hummer. Okay? So you're out here doing a rescue, trying to find the crash. Amazing work. I'm proud of you, blokes. And your volunteers. That's even more amazing. I always believed in the spirit of the volunteer. The person who doesn't expect to be paid for service to his community and country. Real proud of you. What else can I do for you?
Apologies for our intrusion, Ryan. We tried to get in touch with you.
Well, like I said, we've had a lot of trespassers over the years. Even some cattle rustlers a while back. And that serial killer's still out and about.
And you like to deal with them yourself instead of calling the local cops.
Hey, I remember you.
I've been on your property a few times with backburning.
So that's why you navigated this way easily. You had it all mapped out. Well, happy to do it. You guys need a ride? Very well. I'd be honored if you fly along with me, Major. Sergeant. I don't know. Shall we? Okay, sounds like a plan.
Let me give you a tour of the station, then get some dinner back at the house. Aren't all aircraft still grounded, sir? I'm sure that doesn't apply to local flights below 1,000 feet above ground, Trooper. No interceptors will be flying around the bush. They'll be setting up over the big cities. We'll be okay. Better be careful of the C-class airspace, Ryan. Do you have the approach control of the tower frequency handy? Don't worry about that. The guys in the tower know my chopper. And as long as I stay away from the approach paths, we're good.
I see red and green light gun signals from the tower, guys. Better stay away from the base.
With all that shit happening in Rocky, I'm not surprised. I can't believe I'm flying with you guys. How long have you been in the area, Jimmy?
Almost 3 weeks on this posting. I spent 2 years here on the base previously.
You know about the underground hangar at the base, of course?
Of course.
My grandfather started that project, and my father finished it. We've always been a family of miners. Everyone in my family can work and live just as easily below ground as we do above. I was taken through the complex many times when I was a kid. Of course, I was sworn to secrecy, and the threat of commies and saboteurs was so great back then that I was too scared to even think about talking about it to my friends. It was considered one of the 8 technical marvels of the modern world back then. I couldn't believe it when I was first taken through it. It still amazes me that we can park F-111
bombers down there. And what do you do now, Bern? Taking part in a solar power project, but planned upgrades to the space defense systems have already been put on hold. In actuality, I'm a caretaker now that I graduated. If a contingency takes place, I'm there to make sure that the place is ready to support aircraft and spacecraft operations when a real commander and battle staff arrive. You're a caretaker. You? Why aren't you out there on the lecture circuit? Or a consultant for some defense contractor? You could be pulling in some big bucks. I might just do that later on. But if the Space Defense Force languishes in its recession, it might not survive when things recover. Someone needs to be the advocate. I'm happy to do it for my pay. You don't even get paid? How screwed is that? And this here is our Central 6 mine. My great-great-grandfather opened it way back after the turn of the century. He found mostly copper back then, but over the years we found a little bit of everything there. Silver, lead, bauxite, even a tiny bit of gold. Look there and you can see, Ryan, if you don't mind, I'm going to flip your number 2 comm to guard. With all the stuff going on, I want to monitor guard. Hope you don't mind. No, go ahead. Set it for anything you want. Just leave me comm 1 so I can talk to my boys if I need to. You got it.
Repeat. Unidentified helicopter 9 miles north of Joint Air Base Malkara. You have violated controlled airspace during a national air defense emergency. You are instructed to depart C-class airspace immediately and contact Malkara approach immediately on guard or on 126.4. Be advised, you may be intercepted and fired upon without warning if you remain in C-class airspace. Unidentified helicopter, if you hear this message, respond immediately on any channel.
They're talking about us.
What in hell are they getting so wired up about? They know it's me. That doesn't matter in an air defense emergency, Ryan. They may have deployed interceptors to Malkara in case of more attacks in the area. Let me talk to them.
Fine by me. Go ahead.
Malkara approach. This is Sierra Alpha 7 aboard Jet Ranger 1 Juliet Tango on guard, 15 miles south of JAB Malkara. I was previously ground team member of the RCAP that launched yesterday. Requesting permission to land at the RCAP hangar.
What's the Sierra Alpha 7 nonsense?
My call sign at the base. I'm hoping that'll turn down the tension here.
Negative, 1 Juliet Tango. Negative. You are directed to keep clear of C-Class airspace and land immediately. Acknowledged.
Fine. We'll head back to the house. That's about 20 minutes away, Ryan. I'm not landing on a parking lot. I'm heading away from the base. We've made radio contact and my station is less than 40 k's away. I'm not threatening anyone. Listen, approach. This is Ryan Anders on 1 Juliet Tango. We're heading straight back to the station. I'm helping out the Royal Civil Air Patrol with a rescue, so don't get all riled up about... Whoa! What in the hell? That was close. That was to get our attention. Air Force SU-37. This is Jet Ranger 1 Juliet Tango on VHF guard. Go ahead. Jet Ranger 1 Juliet Tango. This is Meteor 17. Air Force SU-37 on guard. Turn left, heading 180. You are instructed to land at Torrance Creek Airport.
I'm not landing at Torrance. That place has been shut down forever. There isn't anything out there.
Ryan, you better turn to that heading. If we're not responding, you'll get permission to shoot. Meteor 17, this is Jet Ranger 1 Juliet Tango, requesting permission to land at the owner's private airstrip at our 4 o'clock, 40 miles. Will remain clear of C-Class airspace. Negative 1 Juliet Tango. You are instructed to land as directed and await law enforcement. Do not attempt to take off again. I will be circling overhead, and I may be directed to fire upon you without warning if you attempt to take off. Remain on this frequency.
Why, this is the biggest load of crap I ever heard. What does he mean, law enforcement? What in hell do I do?
We're not supposed to be flying, Ryan. Don't worry. Once they find out who we are, they'll let us go once the emergency is over.
I'm not gonna wait. Teddy, this is Ryan.
Read you loud and clear, sir.
I'm in the Jet Ranger. There's an Air Force fighter jet forcing me to land at the old airport at Torrance Creek. Send some boys out there, then tell Moffat to meet us out there too. They may try to arrest us. They may use the highway patrol or the cops before the feds arrive.
Roger, sir. I'll tell him.
They think they're hot shit just because they got
A jet fighter? They haven't seen anything yet. Manny, connect me to RCAP command.
Where are you? You missed the check-in.
We're with Ryan Anders. He was flying back to his station in his helicopter after dropping the ground team off.
He was flying? From whom did he get permission?
No one.
So you're at his station?
Not exactly. We were intercepted by an SU-37 and ordered to land at Torrance Creek Airport.
There's an airport at Torrance?
Abandoned. We're okay, but we were told to wait for law enforcement.
Great. I'll report it to the National Operations Centre. I'll ask them to explain to the AFP that Anders was helping the Royal Civil Air Patrol. That might take some time.
The SU-37 is orbiting overhead to make sure that we don't leave.
If they place you under arrest?
I know. Name, address only. Remain silent about anything else and call the National Operations Center. Numbers on my ID card.
Correct. Remind Luger. Maybe he can pull some strings with that highway patrol.
I think they will want to cooperate in every way with ACO. I'll try to keep in touch. If they put us under arrest, we don't answer questions unless we have an RCAP appointed lawyer present. The AFP and ACO are going to be on the warpath, Ryan. A suicide terrorist just attacked their officers. I wouldn't mess with these guys until everybody has had a chance to calm down. Once they figure out we're not terrorists, everyone will dial down the volume quickly. But at first, things might be tense.